It's an interesting day in the world of Magic the Gathering. Wizards of the Coast has just announced a crazy new product called Festival in a Box. And on top of that, they've also announced an awesome new secret lair.
Magic. I am a wizard! History. I'm an old wizard! The magic historian. My bones hurt.
Greetings! Owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles, my friends! I hope the day finds you well because we have gathered to talk about some crazy new products from Wizards of the Coast. There's a lot going on in the world of Magic right now to the point where I've put out news videos back to back. The last one was the bad news about the Double Masters 2022 mega scam. So if you haven't seen that, you can go check that out. But right now, we're here to focus on the good times. Wizards just announced the details for Magic 30, right? And there's a bunch of details about the physical events and everything that's going on. Head out to Vegas, play in those, have a good time. But there's some stuff tucked away that I found really, really interesting. One was the secret lair specifically keyed into it, and the other is the festival in a box. So what we're gonna do is dive in first of all, taking a look at this sweet secret lair. So this adorable secret lair is called Lil Geary Saves the Day. And we're starting out with the Peak card, which admittedly is a very weird choice in terms of power level. I don't think this is a card that anybody was ever really looking to see reprinted. But anyhow, 1 blue for an instant that says, look at target player's hand, draw a card. So the power level is pretty weak, but the flavor on it is very fun. The flavor text says, in an empty castle far to the south, Little Geary found a child sleeping soundly. All was quiet until suddenly, so you get this setup for the beginning of a story. And when you take a look at the artwork, you can see Little Geary, who is literally an onigiri, a rice ball, right? That's just a little bit of seaweed down there wrapped under a rice ball. And so this is a little humanoid kind of version, and they have found a tiny, tiny little baby Geary girl somewhere deep in an abandoned castle, right? And it's crazy because you can see that the room isn't falling apart. This castle isn't in shambles. So what's going on here? Why is this child slumbering soundly? And then all of a sudden, boom! In comes a monster, and you can see it on greed. 1 green and 3 for an enchantment that says pay 1 black, pay 2 life, draw a card. This is a super old school card. It actually originally showed up in the first Legends. It is an odd choice. The cards that they've chosen for this feel more like they're here to tell the story than they are to specifically be powerful, desirable, expensive cards. So greed is not a high power level card. The flavor text on this says, a monster appeared. With a foul claw, it snatched the child and disappeared into the depths of the castle. And the monster continues the goofy, lighthearted feel of this, right? If you look at his eyes, he's got a purple and a pink eye. While yes, he is a monster, he doesn't really feel that threatening. It's like, ooh, for the kiddies. Look, he's got his little metal tentacles he's gonna round around on, and he's got those spiky horns. But ultimately, even with his jagged mouth, his teeth don't look too dangerous. He's a very tame looking villain, but beefcake body, right? He comes barreling in and snatches up the little Geary, or sorry, not the little Geary, the littlest Geary, while little Geary gets slammed down into the ground. I love the facial expressions, right? He's got his eyes all slit closed as he's being slammed forward. Her eyes are open, despondent look on her face. What a terrible way to be woken up, right? And the story continues on the card Curiosity. 1 blue for an enchant creature that says, whenever enchanted creature deals damage to opponent, you may draw a card. Now, this is the first card we see in this secret lair that people will most likely use outside of the secret lair in actual play, because Curiosity can be used to do some broken combos. If you have creatures that deal damage when you draw cards like Niv Mizzet, you can just straight up basically go 2-card combo win, right? But Curiosity in other cases is just really solid, and it fits into the concept of what's going on story-wise as well, right? The flavor text says, Lil Geary tracked the robotic villain with silent steps. Just as the monster was about to eat the child, I love the vibe of it, right? Like you've got an intense scenario of a monster stealing a child who's going to eat it, but you still have that comical childlike version. I would love to watch little Geary moving with silent steps tracking the villain. I mean, it's a big robot. How hard is it to track it? And the artwork is awesome. You've got Geary here in the foreground, getting ready, pulling out the blade. I love the stylized wall behind him with all the carvings of the flowers. It looks great. You've got that little paper window. Maybe he's going to leap right through it. And you can see the silhouette of the monster with his big pink eye blazing up. I guess they must alternate, right? Maybe between pink and purple. Who knows? Or maybe he has two different colored eyes. But either way, you can see it blasting through the window as the littlest Geary is about to be put onto that big old tongue and swallowed down. So this is a lot of fun. Now the next step, what happens next in the story? We get Vandal Blast. Vandal Blast is 1 red for a sorcery that says, destroy target artifact you don't control. And it has Overload for 1 red and 4. This is also a very, very playable card. Just as singular removal to destroy an artifact for 1 red, that's not a bad deal. But when you can overload it and smash all your opponent's toys, that's when it gets really silly. And the flavor of it works perfectly for the story as well, right? With the monster being some sort of automaton, destroying an artifact works here. The flavor text says, our hero struck with a flash of steel, slicing the monster's claw and freeing the young girl from its grasp. And you can see little Geary soaring up in the air as he has just hacked the tentacle off of this monster, and the littlest Geary has tumbled down to the floor, safe, while the monster tumbles backwards, ultimately defeated. And that leads us to the final of the 5 cards they've shown us, and that is Last Chance. 2 red for a sorcery that says, take an extra turn after this one. At the beginning of that turn's end step, you lose the game. So this is one of those red hardcore gamble cards where you go, okay, either I'm winning now or I'm losing now. There is no other answer. And that feels like a fun concept here because the flavor text says, little Geary defeated the dastardly villain. Or had he? Find out what's in store for our hero next time. I love it. You got a little story vibe. You've got the artwork with the hero. He's chilling there. He's got the littlest Geary on his lap. You've got the cherry blossoms. They're in this garden. They both look joyful, like he's just saved this poor little abandoned child. But you can see in the background, the monster is there too, and one of his eyes has opened back up. So what does that mean? It's probably going to have something to do with the bonus card is my guess. Will the bonus card be the monster? Will it be some sort of black recursion, like bring somebody back from the graveyard style spell? That's my guess, is it's probably going to be something that brings a creature back from the graveyard. But you never know. It literally could be anything. This has a ton of fun flavor. It is available only in foil, traditional, and it'll be $39.99 to buy it individually. All right, now that that's out of the way, let's talk about the Festival in a Box. This thing has a bunch of different items, and I'm going to put the list up on the screen, but first, we're going to talk about the very first item on the list, which is the virtual ticket package, which has its own list. So we have to look at that. The virtual ticket package, which is something you can just get on your own if you don't want to get the entire Festival in a Box package, has 1 Magic Arena event entry token, and that is for a Chaos draft on Arena. It's unknown whether it's going to include extra booster packs that are available from outside of what's on Arena, but I would presume that it would just be Chaos drafting with Arena packs. Then you have 1 Magic Online event entry token, and I do like that they're including both Arena and MTGO, because part of me thought that once they handed it off to another company to manage, that Wizards might quietly kind of push Magic Online into the background. So it's nice to see them included. There is going to be a curated cube experience for the Magic Online event. Then you have a virtual Q&A with Richard Garfield. What this essentially is you have the ability to ask Richard Garfield questions through Discord. And the same thing will happen with Mark Rosewater as well. So by buying one of these ticket packages, you get to be part of both of those Q&As. And then the least interesting item on the list is access to merchandise exclusive to Magic 30. And I'll show you an image of the stuff that they have. The merch, honestly, if it's your thing, that's cool. But when I'm looking at it, there's nothing that really gets me jazzed up when I look through it. You know what I mean? The hat's okay. But ultimately, that's some all right stuff. The festival in the box is where it gets wild, all right? So we're going to go through the whole list now. We already went through the Magic 30 virtual ticket. After that, you've got a mystery booster convention edition booster box. So we're talking about a whole booster box. At this point, if you haven't seen it already on the screen, if you're wondering what the price is, $269 US. So this is a big, dirty number, but they are including a full-on booster box. So you've got the virtual ticket, you've got the convention edition booster box, you get a copy of the Secret Lair Little Geary Saves the Day in traditional foil, you get a traditional foil Soul Ring Magic 30 promo card, and you can see the artwork that's used for that one here on the screen. They also have a foil etched arcane signet that clearly has very much an Avengers vibe. Like, here's my Infinity signet, right? It's pretty kind of bang on with that one. What they have in here is all over the place. There's a Kamigawa Neon Dynasty Commander deck Buckle Up, as well as the other Commander deck Upgrades Unleashed, which feels like a very random include, but we're looking at now a booster box, 2 commander decks, a Secret Lair. Like, my brain is comparing it to what we've seen recently, the boxes of Double Masters, right? I mean, Double Masters collector boxes as well. The insane price tags on those. So this is actually surprising to me in that Wizards hasn't been trying to extract every single dollar that they can get for this, right? And it continues. There's a Guardians of New Benalia playmat with Magic the Gathering's 30th anniversary logo on it. So if you take a look at it here, man, I am a massive sucker for stained glass, right? And you've got so much of it here. You have that beautiful, gorgeous, honking shield. And I really, really love the idea that they actually put stained glass into their shields, because the amount of magic you would need to reinforce those shields and make them work and keep stained glass in them, it's just impressive. That is a nice little bit of flavor that they've really pushed to the forefront in Benalia, and you can see that this just has the right vibe with stained glass all over the place. I'm a huge fan of that stuff. And actually, speaking of the 6 stained glass, take a look at this as well. You get the stained glass deck box. This is gorgeous. These are the stained glass land arts that they're using. So you've got all 5 of them arrayed around the box, and it's just like also with that awesome divider. I am a massive, massive sucker for stained glass, right? And then there's also one set of 100 Little Geary card sleeves. So you get Little Geary card sleeves, and they feature the artwork where he's sitting there having like victoriously won. He's just sitting there with the small little child on his lap in the cherry blossoms, and it is so glorious. If you want a summation, if you don't care about the virtual ticket, the physical stuff you're getting is a booster box of mystery boosters. You're getting the Little Geary Secret Lair. You're getting a foil Sol Ring, a foil Signet, 2 Kamigawa Commander decks, a Guardians of Benalia playmat, a stained glass deck box, and a set of 100 sleeves. And that is for, admittedly, the princely sum of $269 US. This is the kind of thing that if I had the money, I would buy it for me, because the convention boxes, the price of those has gone up to the point where if you just want to buy a convention box, they're pretty much this price already in my area, if they haven't already ticked up a little bit more, although this might help to move the price down. But you got to understand as well, guys, if you didn't know, convention edition mystery boosters, that means they have the playtest cards in them. It's not like the ones that were made for stores where you just had an extra foil or whatever else. It legit has those wonky, awesome playtest cards. So this is a bundle that, for me, I'm actually on board with getting it. Like, it's obviously pricey, and I don't mean I'm buying it. I'm saying if I had the resources, I would. So for the people who get it, I get why you're getting it. For the people who don't, I'm in your boat, so don't worry about that. That wraps up all of the interesting news that I had to cover in this regard. I'm gonna take a moment to let you know, if you don't already know, I have a lore channel called Fantasy Geographic. We're gonna be covering the Dominaria United lore. As soon as it comes out, it's gonna be available on that channel, right? So within 24 hours or so, there will be new lore on Dominaria United over there. Go check it out. Big thank you to my patrons, and I will see you all, my friends, next time.